Welcome to 3 Count Commentaries. Today we're going to be talking about Smackdown from July the 1st, 2022. We will also be doing news and notes and Money in the Bank predictions. So, got a lot on our plate. Alright, first, WWE signs Valerie Loureda, current Bellator MMA fighter. And they also signed Logan Paul to a longer-term contract. We're going to talk about Logan Paul in a different video. I'm going to talk about both of these real quick. Valerie Loureda apparently is going to go to NXT. So they're going to try to develop her into an pretty much everyday kind of talent. She's only 23. She's trained in Taekwondo and some other sports. Her signing with WWE had her trending on Twitter. It made so many people angry. I had no idea she was so hated in the MMA community. I had no earthly idea why, other than I know she posts booty pictures a lot, but the girl is smoking hot. And even if she's not the greatest MMA fighter, she actually got in there and did it. She had 5 fights. I think she won 4 of them. People, of course, have dissed the quality of her opponents and all that kind of stuff, which is, that's what they all do. That's what they always do. She wasn't an elite fighter. She probably was never going to be one, but at the same time, she's only 23. Who knows? She might have gotten better if she'd taken more blows to the head. You tend to get better when you're getting punched in the head. But who knows? She's currently still signed to Bellator. Scott Coker, the owner, I don't want to say owner, maybe president of Bellator MMA, considers her still under contract, but she will do both WWE and MMA, apparently. That's kind of the general idea, is that she's going to do both. I don't see how she's going to do both. I'm thinking that eventually WWE is just going to buy out the rest of that contract if she can manage to make some money. So I'm seeing that's pretty much what it's going to be. That's my guess. My guess is she's going to go to the Performance Center. She's going to work there for a little while. If they come up with something for her and she turns out that she can make some money, WWE is just going to buy out her contract, her MMA contract. Now, they've only done this for Brock before, where they kind of made Brock available to do UFC. I don't see them letting Valerie Loureda do MMA, especially if it's going to ruin her look and that kind of stuff. So I don't think they'll probably let them do that. But I don't know how many fights she got left on her contract though either. So this has been a lot of people are looking at her like a celebrity signing, because she didn't come into a wrestling background. She also didn't grow up watching wrestling. She said she watched wrestling here and there. So she wasn't like a lifelong fan or anything like that, which of course, raised the ire of the traditional wrestling fan, the dweebs, you have to grow up wanting to be a wrestler your whole life. She actually said she fell in love with wrestling after attending WrestleMania this year. So WrestleMania 38. She actually attended the show live, and the pomp and circumstance of WrestleMania made her want to do it. And she went to Performance Center a few times, and voila, here she is. She has a massive following on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. So that and how she looks is really why they signed her up. Now it's just a matter of getting everything together for her. She wants to be on NXT by the end of the year. I think that's what WWE is pushing for. I'm just going to say this until I know more about what she plans to do in wrestling. I'm just looking at it as you could just put another one in the that bitch's bad column. She's NXT 2.0, man. Everything that people said Johnny Ace, all he did was sign models. He's like, okay, we gonna sign some models, but we also gonna sign some bras that can fight. So God, the people that they complain about, Nikita Lyons, she has a legit judo background. So she might be fine and a little young and a little, rough around the edges, but she got a legit background. The same thing with Valerie Loureda. So that's good. She's also very small. So that's going to be an interesting thing. But I'm very interested in seeing what she can do. Logan Paul, he's already been on WWE TV. Of course, he was going to do something because they've already been teasing him So this shouldn't have been a big surprise that he was signed to a longer term contract, but it still ruffled some feathers. And as a matter of fact, it was mostly what a particular former WCW commentator said, Mark Madden. We're going to talk about that in a different video, though. Next note, there's been a lot of talk of Zion Quinn and Solo Sikoa being brought up to the main roster. Solo Sikoa, I could see. I mean, the bloodline thing is just a slam dunk for him. I know that the Usos said that they told him that he needed to be as different from them as he possibly can be. But I think the desire to just put him in that group is too strong. And it's the best way to bring him in. I don't see why we should run away from it. You know, me personally, I just don't see why we should run away from it. And it wouldn't make any sense because he looks so much like them. There's no way you can avoid it. You know, you just can't avoid it. Zion Quinn, it seems to me, like I said, just from watching NXT, the way they was booking him, he might be a guy that they're looking at pulling out of there because he's losing all the time now. But the guy looks great and he's talking, and his promo skills don't seem to be too bad. I don't see him being there forever. I think a lot of people was very excited about, you know, what he could possibly do before he even really got on NXT TV. Because I heard about, you know, he was a really top prospect for him. So hopefully they bring them both up. You know, that ought to be nice. You know, Solo Sikoa already having a spot with the bloodline to be great. Zion Quinn having to start from scratch. That ought to be pretty interesting. I have faith in him, though. I like Zion Quinn. I think he's pretty good. I think they give him the spot. He could be the guy. All right. Last note, The Rock now has 8 siblings, I think it is. He had 3 that he knew of, and now he had 5 more. Greg Oliver of SlamWrestling.net did an article on Sports Illustrated about Rocky Johnson basically having babies all over Canada. It is an absolutely tremendous story. And, you know, it's a story of Rocky Johnson as a guy who traveled as a wrestler and basically shacked up with different women when he went to town and had babies. And some of them he actually knew about before he died. Some he may not have known about. And it tells like a really sad story of all of these people who grew up without a father. And some of the ones who knew who their father was, but maybe couldn't get in contact with them, they grew up watching their baby brother like storm the wrestling business and be super famous. And that's, oh man, I know that had to suck. One of the most just visceral lines in the whole thing was when I think it was one of the daughters, when she said that when she sees The Rock, she doesn't see him as like this multimillionaire, you know, Hollywood superstar. She says she sees him and she thinks, why did our dad love him and not me? And I was like, that's so fucked up. But it's real. You know, some people feel that way when, you know, they have the same parents, but they don't get the same attention. And, you know, some of them have told stories about calling Rocky Johnson on the phone and he would hang up on them. And, you know, others have said that, you know, hey, Rocky knew about me. He would promise me that we would go hang out or he would come visit and then he'd never show up. And it was like these really heartbreaking stories, you know, and it was some really weird stuff too. Like one of these guys says that he got the Ancestry.com thing because people kept telling him he looked just like The Rock. And some of them actually do look like The Rock. I'm not even gonna lie. Some of them do look like The Rock. But I was just kind of like, wow. You know, it was crazy. Like, imagine, you know, yeah, you got 3 brothers and sisters that you know of. And then, you know, now your family has doubled. Now you've got, you know, 5 more siblings. And how we got to this point was one of the daughters started making a documentary on her own life, you know, finding out who her father is and, you know, the relationship that she didn't have with him. And through this, you know, she found her uncle Ricky, who was Rocky Johnson's brother. And every time one of these kids popped up, they would contact Ricky Johnson, and they started doing 23andMe and Ancestry.com and all the kind of sketchy DNA tests, and found out that they were all related. By this point in time, Rocky Johnson was dead. So they was testing each other against Ricky, and they had the same paternal DNA, you know, they was related on father's side. So that's how they've been proven that they are the children of Rocky Johnson, is through testing it on Ricky Johnson. The Rock and his publicists apparently had no comment on this. As far as the family is concerned, they just wanted to have family. They don't necessarily want anything from The Rock, and don't feel like they blame him for anything. But of course, there's that latent jealousy there because of the relationship that he was able to have. And The Rock had a rocky relationship with Rocky Johnson as well. But to have no relationship is kind of sad. And to have a situation where, you know, you finally got in contact with him and he hung up on you. Like, that's fucked up. Like, that's real sad. I think everybody should read that Sports Illustrated article. You know, a lot of people say, like, you know, he was out here moving like Big Daddy Dudley. If you don't know, the Dudley Boys was kind of, they come from that storyline, is, you know, a traveling wrestler who has a baby in all different types of places, and they all meet in ECW, where they become the Dudley, Sign Guy Dudley, and Dudley Dudley, and Dances with Dudley, and Bubba Ray Dudley, and Devon Dudley, and I said Sign Guy Dudley already, Spike Dudley. And this is a real life version of that story, you know. But I'm pretty sure a lot of territorial wrestlers have a similar situation, have kids that they probably never met. You know, probably some people who had, you know, ring rats who, you know, probably slept with wrestlers while they were married. So there's probably some guys out there raising somebody else, some wrestler's daughter, you know, or son or whatever. There's just no telling. So while the Rocky Johnson story is tremendous, I'm pretty sure a lot of wrestlers that worked in the territory era probably have similar stories, you know, a bunch of kids out of wedlock, you know, different mothers, and it's really crazy. It's a really crazy story. All right, let's get into SmackDown. We started the SmackDown in the weirdest way possible, with all these guys on top of ladders, which to me is not good. This episode of SmackDown was not good. It was not good. It made me mad, as a matter of fact. This episode of SmackDown made me angry. So let's zoom through the first segment. So apparently everybody just stood on ladders to talk about how they were going to win the Money in the Bank. That's essentially all it was, really. Everybody reiterated their storyline. Seth Rollins, Heist of the Century storyline. Sami Zayn protecting Roman Reigns from the vultures of everybody else. Sheamus already cashing in on Roman Reigns, but having to prepare himself for Brock Lesnar in case Brock wins. And McIntyre, having already beaten Brock, wants a rematch with Roman, wants the title. MVP saying that all the Vegas eyes are on Amos. This led the Miz to come out and said that he deserves to be in it. Then Ezekiel came out and says that Kevin Owens is not eligible to wrestle, and since he was supposed to have a qualifying match, he should be in it. Then Corbin showed up, called Zeke a buffoon, and says that nobody is as lucky as him in Las Vegas. Then Madcap Moss came out because Happy Corbin was there, and apparently these two are attached at the hip, and said that the thought of Happy Corbin winning is, you know, hysterical. So it was basically a joke. So we had 8 guys out here, and Adam Pearce decides, hey, we're going to have ourselves a good old-fashioned battle royale. For what? No reason. Just cause. Just going to have a battle royal for no reason. And this match ended up being like a good 20 minutes. So this is the first 30 minutes of the show. Was these guys talking, and then them having a battle royal for nothing. A battle royal for nothing. Happy Corbin wins the battle royal for nothing. At this point, we learn Kevin Owens is physically unable to compete. So obviously he must be injured or something to that effect. That sucks. This match meant so much to everybody that Seth Rollins eliminated himself. just by jumping over the top rope, and that was it for him for the night. And I threw my hands up like, bro, this is stupid. I don't get it. You know, what was the point of this battle royal? Happy Corbin won this battle royal for what? So he could mock Pat McAfee for winning, which is all he did. He came out there to, you know, after he won, he mocked Pat McAfee. The crowd chanted bum ass Corbin at him throughout the night, which is fun actually. After the match, Corbin says that he's farting rainbows and feeling great. When asked about Pat McAfee's challenge, he said nothing. He had no comment. No comment on the challenge of Pat McAfee. This was silly. This was ridiculous. We get a segment later on with Zeke, Corbin, Miz, and Madcap Moss arguing about which one of them should be in the Money in the Bank. They all pitched their idea to Adam Pearce. Miz says that he was on the Today Show and he flew such and such miles to be here tonight, so he should be on the show. Corbin says he won the Battle Royal, so he should be in the show. I mean, that's actually truth. Ezekiel said he's supposed to have been in the Battle Royal because he's supposed to have a qualifying match anyway, and it's not his fault that Kevin Owens can't wrestle. And Madcap Moss, well, he's just happy to be there. And Adam Pearce says, okay, okie dokie. Here's what we're going to do. We're going to do a fatal 4-way match. The winner will get in the Money in the Bank. And I just looked at it, I was like, what the fuck was this Battle Royal for? What was the Battle Royal for? What was to be gained or lost in the Battle Royal? Nothing, man. Come on, let's go. Main event of the show, Miz versus Ezekiel versus Happy Corbin versus Madcap Moss. The winner will go on to Money in the Bank to fill the last spot. Madcap Moss wins the match, which was interesting. He steals Happy Corbin's pin after Happy Corbin hit Ezekiel with the End of Days. Okay. To be quite honest, man, I don't think I paid attention to this match because I had seen all these guys earlier. And I'm figure if it mattered who would win, because we know none of these guys are going to win because they didn't put any effort into building any of them, except Ezekiel. You could have just done this fatal 4-way and then made time for something else. It's just poor time management. Have these guys work twice. It's like, what the fuck for? What are they working twice for? I just don't get it, man. And then that Battle Royal was kind of long too. But I guess they did put the focus on guys who weren't in the Money in the Bank match, though. So, well, they put the focus on guys who were already in. Because Riddle did really a lot of work in that match. He was really good. And the crowd was really deflated when Riddle lost. Those kids really, really, really like Riddle. They really like Riddle. I underrated it. I forget who said it. That, you know, despite the fact that the Riddle character is stupid, that he's really over with children. And you could tell, you know, in this match especially, that they were really over with Riddle. You know, they really wanted him to win very badly. Too bad he lost. Too bad. All right, so Madcap Moss is going to get a showcase. That's fine. I'm okay with. I like that he's in the match. He adds something to the match. He's an unknown quantity, but he has no. Him winning is, you can forget about it. You know, he's not going to win. It makes no sense for him to win. All right, we got a Natalya promo. Oh Lord. Natalya says that despite Ronda talking about her charisma and her talent, she's seen some of Ronda Rousey's movies, and it's no surprise that Hollywood isn't calling Ronda anymore. Then says that she knows why Ronda is talking so much now is because the sharpshooter scares her, and she's going to be the first woman to tap out Ronda Rousey. And the only thing she's going to be holding is not the Smackdown Women's title, but her 10-month-old baby. That was awful. It was an awful promo. It was followed by another awful promo by Ronda Rousey, who says that, you know, Natalya was supposed to be her friend. If she was her real friend, she would know her baby is 9 months, not 10 months. And she's going to tap out Natalya despite her poor math skills. They have been going back and forth on Twitter with Ronda Rousey. Well, specifically it's been Natalya doing the whole rack out thing. She's been posting pictures of her titties out, like with her sister and stuff like this. and posting pictures of Ronda Rousey in a bikini, saying that Ronda Rousey is a hypocrite. And now she's posting pictures of her training with Ronda, saying that, despite my lack of charisma and in-ring talent, I've been doing a good job of holding your hand. That's the kind of shit we should be seeing on TV. The whole thing with Natalya actually helping Ronda, that's what we should be seeing. I think that's what this feud should be about. That these two were friends, and now the title is coming in between them. That's a far more effective story than whatever the fuck they're doing here with Ronda and Natalya. This is stupid, right? Natalya is just, I don't know, man. Can't she just walk the yellow brick road or something? What is TJ fucking doing all day? Like, what are you doing all day, bro? Like, Natalya is not getting no younger. Ruin her life by getting her pregnant, please. Pretty please. I'll pay you to do it. What are you doing all day, man? You playing with action figures or something? Video games or some shit? Knock this woman up so she can go home for a year or two. Damn. We can't get no respite at all from Natalya. Jesus Christ, bruh. And the worst thing about it, she's coming across like the star in this thing because Ronda is so dry. I mean, goddamn. Jesus, I'm dehydrated even thinking about Ronda Rousey promos. And that's not because she's hot. It's because there's nothing there. It's just nothing. Just nothing there. New Day came out there next. They made some jokes. And then said everybody wanted to see Shanky before the Viking Raiders interfered. And then we got supposed to have been a match between New Day and the Viking Raiders. They were then introduced as the new vicious Viking Raiders. And I said, like, is this show for retards? We don't need you to tell us that this is the new vicious Viking Raiders. It's not adjective. No, it's stupid. Stop doing that. The new and vicious Viking Raiders. Whose idea was this? We don't need you to tell us that they're new and vicious. When have we ever started doing that? Is that how we're gonna start doing heel turns like that? We're just gonna start, giving guys silly adjectives. Like, I don't know. It's so stupid. The new and vicious Viking Raiders. Anyway, the New Day and the Viking Raiders, they stare face to face. It looks like the Viking Raiders want to say something. Instead, New Day threw the microphones. And then they attacked the Viking Raiders, but the Viking Raiders have big wooden shields. So they blocked a lot of the attacks, and then they used the shields to beat up New Day. I was like, okay, this was effective at least. I would have liked for it to look a little bit more brutal. I like the whole attacking people with the shields thing. It was pretty cool. They need clubs, though. They need, like, weapons. Like, the shields are cool, but get some other weapons, too. Get, like, some wood. Like, I know you can't use an axe. You can't actually use it because, you kill somebody. So get, like, a wooden club. Like that, what's that hairy guy from the Hanna-Barbera cartoons? He's to bash things with a giant club. Like, get one of those things. But I wasn't feeling this. It was what it was, though, bruh. It was what it was. It was good enough, I guess. All right. A 6-woman tag team match, Raw versus SmackDown. Asuka, Liv Morgan, and Alexa Bliss defeated Lacey Evans, Raquel Gonzalez, and Shotzi when Liv Morgan hits Oblivion on Shotzi. This match was actually fun. Becky Lynch was on commentary. And before she came out, when she was walking down the ramp, Becky Lynch cut a promo saying that nothing important happens until big time Bex is here. And on commentary, she ran through a couple of more interesting nicknames. For instance, as she ran down everybody, she said she was smarter than Raquel Gonzalez and that she's big brainy Bex. And then her and Pat McAfee, they brainstormed what I think was probably a marketing gold mine, and I think this is probably going to put Becky Lynch over the hill as far as winning. Big bank Bex. I think that's it. I think Vince probably heard that and was like, God damn it, pal. Big bank Bex. Yeah, I like it. And, it's going to be over. Anyway, this match was really fun. I enjoyed the interplay of all of the characters. It's unfortunate that a lot of this was babyface versus babyface. There's 5 babyfaces in this fucking match. Like Shotzi was the only heel, and she's the one who got pinned. She's the only one who could eat pins. So it is what it is. After the match, Becky Lynch hit manhandle slam on Asuka, then fled. She ran away. Okay. At least I enjoyed the match. I can say that much. It was unique, and I enjoyed the match. And I don't think anybody looks like shit. It just all looks okay. I like the Asuka, Lacey Evans stuff. It was actually not bad. Sonya Deville went to Adam Pearce. She told him that she filed a complaint against him because he put her in a handicap match. And then she said, I got something else for you, and she slapped the shit out of him. It was like something out of one of those movies. Like one of those old movies where people would get like the shit smacked out of them and they face turn and it stays there. Like she hit that she hit that dude hard as hell. It was ridiculous. My God. Sonya Deville getting her comeuppance for this is going to be funny. I still think they should have put her in the Money in the Bank match. Well, why are we not going to do that? I don't know. You have 8 men. Why can't it be 8 women? Throw Sonya Deville in there. I mean, what are we waiting for? Why not? Why can't we do that? Give me one good reason why we can't put Sonya Deville in that match. Maybe that's what they do. Maybe at the last minute they slide Sonya Deville in there to make it an even 8. But if they keep it at 7, it's still going to be good. My prediction will be based off them staying at 7. All right. So they did an Ask Them Anything segment between the Usos and the Street Profits, hosted by Kayla Braxton. This was a stupid segment, considering I would have thought like you would have, at least have tweets on the screen or something like that. But it was basically just Kayla asking questions that was supposed to come from the WWE universe, but things that didn't make any sense, such as, are the Usos scared? I heard that the Street Profits are going to break up or whatever. Anyway, the Usos said that they're not scared. They run the show, to which the Street Profits countered saying that Roman runs the show. Y'all just run to the grocery store. Then Tez and D'Angelo dispelled the rumors of the Street Profits breaking up, and that they were told, hey, we think you guys don't have killer instinct, which led to Montez Ford saying that they definitely got killer instinct, and that they know the legacy of the Usos, from the High Chief Peter Maivia to the Head Shrinkers to the all the family stuff. And then it says that you may be prepared, but none of y'all are prepared for the new hungry Street Profits. And they actually traded catchphrases with the Usos, saying that they wanted to smoke, while the Street Profits said that they are the ones. And it was a strong promo from Montez Ford, a strong promo at the end by the Usos. I just feel like we could have done something fun with an Ask Me Anything type of segment if they let it be a shoot, or at least, to a degree. Not a complete shoot, of course, but to a degree where we actually get questions from people, where they can ask silly questions, and it could be actually fun and funny. But this did a tremendous job of actually building up storyline between these two teams. But they could have just done a face-to-face promo for this. They didn't have to try to form it in an Ask Me Anything type of scenario. That is what made it a little odd for me. But, we know why we are here. We are here to talk about maximum male models. That's why we came here. We came here to talk about maximum male models, and we're going to do just that. Max Dupree is introduced. He's wearing red wire rim glasses with no lenses. No lenses in the glasses. So he's just wearing glasses for no reason. And he's in the middle of the ring, and he's going to announce his maximum male models. And it's absolutely stupid. From the beginning, it's so stupid. So he first gives a little bit of speech saying that Maximum Male Models is based on passion and fashion. And it tells the story that you knew him as Mace, but now he goes by Mace. And then Mace comes out in tight jeans. He's got earrings. He's got rose-colored lenses in his glasses. It is ridiculous. And Max Dupree is talking about his body and about how he has the perfect inseam and excellent hamstrings. It is absolutely ridiculous. And Pat McAfee is going along. Pat McAfee is along for the ride. All right. He's 100% selling you that Maximum Male Models is something that's actually working. And this is fucking hilarious. It was so stupid. It was hilarious. It was WWE leaning into how dumb this is and having fun with it. Like, that is the one thing that I will say. Like, everybody hates this stuff. Everybody hates this kind of shit. But WWE does it because they end up making it fun. Maximum Male Models is stupid. It's a stupid idea. There's no reason why this should ever work. And yet, I found myself dying at Massey. I was dying, all right, because he took this so seriously. He was out there with the fashion model face and everything, doing the catwalk, doing the sharp turns, the whole. Oh my God, bro, I was dead. I was laughing my ass off. And then he brought out the next one was Mansoor. Not Mansoor, but Mansoor. So Mansoor is wearing a fanny pack over his shoulder. He's got it on his chest. He said, so Max Dupree is selling Mansoor as the heartthrob of the fashion world and the personification of suave. And the crazy thing is, Mansoor was taking this shit so seriously, and he looks the part. That's the thing that made it so funny, is that he actually not a bad looking guy. So he's really buying into it. And I think Mace did break character a little bit later, though, as he was smiling at I think when they did the duo walk. He was smiling like, this is ridiculous. I think they might have been joking to each other about how stupid it is. But it was great. It was great in its stupidity. This is not going to work long term. This is not a long term plan. This ain't going to main event WrestleMania. All right. This ain't going to be top flight nothing. It's just something for these fucking guys to do because they don't want to fire them yet. So I'm all for it, man. Like, I'm all about characters. I definitely would have preferred if it was a Giovanni Vinci and Pretty Deadly, but there's plans to expand Maximum Male Models. In fact, there's going to be a Maximum Male Models website where you can apply to be Maximum Male Models. You will get to apply to be a Maximum Male Model. Believe it or not, it is a real website, MaximumMaleModels.com. This is going to be silly. All right, this is going to be so silly. And I think eventually Giovanni Vinci and Pretty Deadly will get in this group. But it's going to be stupid on a different level. You know, the WWE needed tag teams, so they're going to throw these guys in there. It's going to be fine. You know, they've already been doing the house show loop. On the house show loop, they changed Mace's name completely to Face. And I guess they just said that's stupid. So they're going to go with Mace, which is funny. And they have to wear like those crazy Astro suits. And I'm going to tell you something. And this is actually relevant. It's a tangent, but it's relevant. I saw the video of Kendrick Lamar performing at the fashion show. I forget what fashion show it was, but he was sitting there wearing a crown of thorns. Which, you know, I'm not a Christian, but I was kind of like, I could have sworn this guy was just preaching about, you know, what did he say? he praised for women's rights after Roe versus Wade, passed, and he was wearing a crown of thorns. And I was like, this dude is taking up the Jesus iconography while kind of talking about abortion. And now he's at a fashion thing wearing a crown of thorns, performing in front of like the scum of the earth. Like, the fashion world is so disgusting. It's nothing but vanity. It's not even about clothes anymore. Like, you can't functionally wear any of that crap that they have out there. It's all about art using clothes. That's pretty much what it is. You would never see anybody wearing, except Becky Lynch and now in her new gimmick. She dresses like somebody out of a German music video. And that's the kind of crap you see in the art world, where people are wearing clothes they wouldn't possibly wear anywhere in public. It's all about wearing art. So if they go that far with maximum male models, it could definitely be fun. If they out there in some absolute Astro shit where they look like they was dressed by the Jetsons, it could be funny as fuck. And I would just do a straight up parody of modeling. First establish it as a serious organization, even though it's not serious because Max Dupree is involved. But have fun with that for a little while. And then get into the deranged world of the ridiculous outfits that people see in fashion world. Why not? And a lot of people are mad that this is what they've chose to do with LA Knight. And he got the smarmy agent thing down. Yes, we would all prefer if he was doing badass stuff and was being a cool character like he was in NXT. If he was just doing LA Knight, that would be fun. If he was just doing Eli Drake, that would work too. And I think that if all else fails, they still have that to fall back on. That he could do LA Knight, or he doesn't have to be Max Dupree forever. And I think that's one thing. Even people who watch WWE for a long time, they kind of forget that gimmicks and characters change over time. And, Dolph Ziggler was at one point a male cheerleader. Shawn Michaels was a makeshift stripper and a boy toy for Sherry Martel. You have to start somewhere. And this is just going to be the start for Max Dupree. I know he's kind of old, though. Like, I think he's almost in his 40s, if he's not already 40. So, he doesn't have a lot of time. But at the same time, you got to get your foot in the door. I look at these silly gimmicks when they start as you are doing entry-level work for the most part. You coming in, and they're going to give you something silly to do. And you have to do that in order to build up to something else. Very few people come in and get that Brock run where you get pushed to the top almost immediately. And then people resent that when it happens. Deacon Batista had a thing. It happens. Let it, I hate to be a let it play out kind of guy, but I don't see everybody knows maximum male models is not going to last a long time. I'd be surprised if it lasts a year. It probably won't even last to the Royal Rumble before they decide, okay, we're done with this. For whatever reason. Either the matches are not going to get over, the performers are not really going to get over, or whatever the case may be. But I'm going to be all right with it. Because it gets a guy that I actually like in Max Dupree / LA Knight / Eli Drake. It gets him an easy paycheck. And he gets to have fun being entertaining. So I'm okay with it. If they decide never to use him as a wrestler, that would suck. But I don't mind this. It's absolutely terrible, but I don't mind it because it has a lot of potential for entertainment value. It has the potential to win me over. Let's put it like that. Because, you got the opportunity here to bring in Pretty Deadly. And to me, that's going to be the real litmus test, is when they bring in Pretty Deadly to do this. I don't see this doesn't have any legs to it at all. It'll probably die in a year. By Royal Rumble, I doubt they'll still be doing maximum male models. But the potential is there to do something that is so silly and so over the top that it actually is funny. Even though it's not an effective use of Max Dupree / LA Knight / Eli Drake, he'll be fine after this. You know, most people are okay after they have their initial bad gimmick, you know. So hopefully this guy, you know, this thing won't last too long and we can get it in and get it out. But I'm willing to ride the wave until then, you know. Hopefully they just keep it entertaining, and we can't really ask them for much more than that. I'm not going to ask for it to be good because there's no way possible that male models can be good. It sucks. All right, so that was SmackDown. Not a particularly good episode of SmackDown either. So, you know, we're stuck with what we're stuck with. Okay, so Money in the Bank predictions. You know, WWE smartly only puts up 6 matches, but they did do a good job of really building up stories. So I am interested in this show. Let's start with the Tag Team Championship match. The Usos versus the Street Profits. Having the Usos lose the belts would give Roman a reason to be on the show. But WWE hasn't done a good job of really building up any other tag teams. So what do? You put the belts on the Street Profits, and who do they wrestle? The Viking Raiders and Maximum Male Models, and who else? That's it. That sucks. So if the Usos beat the Street Profits, who do they wrestle? I don't know. You know, like, so the tag team division is so shallow that really this is probably going to be the first match of many in the series of these two teams. I'm going to go with the Usos, though. The United States Championship match. Austin Theory versus Bobby Lashley. All right, so the idea that Austin Theory is going to be wrestling John Cena, it was tossed around. A lot of people talked about it. It might or might not be happening, depending on who you ask and depending on the last person you talk to. Either way, I would not be upset if Lashley won the title here, because not only because I like Bob, but because it would free Theory to do something else, and it would, you know, you're free to push to build other heels to fight Lashley. Like, Raw does have a heel stable for Lashley to fight. You know, he could always go up against Otis. Otis is, I think, hasn't been beaten in a while, has he? I know he lost a handicap match, but he didn't get pinned. I don't know when the last time I actually saw Otis get pinned. It probably was recently, too. I just wasn't paying attention. But you also have Veer, you know, who is a guy that they've been building up for a little while now. And you have a couple of other people, another rematches with Theory or something like that. So I think we have to ask the question of if Cena is going to be the next guy for Theory. If that's going to be the case, Theory should win, even if it's by hook. You know, pull out the tights, foot on the ropes, or something like that. I'll grit my teeth and bear it to give the kid some momentum, so that Cena could at least have a strong Theory to wrestle, versus Theory doing a job for Lashley and then, you know, falling ass backwards into a match with Cena. So I'm gonna go with Theory by sneaky deaky, foot on the ropes, or disqualification or count out or something like that. All right, women's championships. Raw Women's Championship: Bianca Belair versus Carmella. Obviously, it's going to be Bianca Belair. I just can't see it. I don't want to live in a world where Carmella defeats Bianca Belair. I don't want to live in that reality. I really don't want to live in a reality where I have to watch Natalya versus Ronda Rousey either. Can we kick this to the pre-show? How much money do I have to pay Vince McMahon in cold hard cash to get him to move this match to a spot on the show I will not watch? You know, pre-show, post-show. Can we make it the dark match? Maybe it could be the dark match, the after main event, so everybody can leave the building, like I heard they did for Rampage. But don't. Anyway, I'm going to go around to Rousey. Clearly, nobody's thinking about Natalya. Auntie Natty is sad, just sad. TJ, I'm begging you. All right, that's most of the card right there. All right, the women's Money in the Bank. So there's a lot of good stories going into this thing. You got Liv with her My Time Is Now situation. You got Lacey Evans and her Renaissance, and you got Big Bank Bex. who is obsessing over the title, and this is her, I wouldn't say last opportunity, but a big opportunity for Becky Lynch. I know a lot of people are just saying, okay, we're going with Becky Lynch and it's a slam dunk because why? But at the same time, I'm like, we don't really need Becky Lynch to win this. I'm going to stick with my original guess, and I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. I think Liv Morgan will win the Money in the Bank and finally fulfill some kind of promise. Do I think she's going to win the title? God, I hope not. But she needs something. As a babyface, in order for you to continue believing in Liv Morgan, she has to eventually fucking win something. All right? And since she's the only babyface in here outside of Lacey Evans that has any momentum, you got to give it to her. You know, you could always have her put it on the line against other people. And that could be a cool storyline too, where Liv Morgan wins the Money in the Bank and now Becky Lynch is going to try to take it from her. You know, let's do that. You know, you can run that through most of the summer with, you know, Liv Morgan having to defend her Money in the Bank briefcase in singles matches or whatever against people who are, you know, feel like they're more deserving. You know, and I think Becky Lynch is good for that. I like that idea. I think I would go with that. I'm going to go with Liv Morgan. My heart would say Shotzi, though. I really like Shotzi, but they're not going to push her yet. I don't know why. They're just not going to do it. Raquel doesn't need it, and Lacey Evans, to be quite honest, she doesn't need it either. All right, the men's Money in the Bank. So we got a couple of storylines going into this one too. You got the Heist of the Century 2, Seth Rollins. You got Zayn protecting Roman, the honorary Uce, and you got Bro in the Bank. I think that all the kiddies, of course, would be very big on the Bro in the Bank situation with Riddle finally getting vengeance for Randy Orton by screwing Roman Reigns out of the title one way or the other. I think it's a waste of the briefcase unless Riddle's going to win the belt. You know, personally, I think, of course, it's a waste of the briefcase if anybody doesn't win the belt. It's okay for Zayn to not win it, you know, because the storyline that we want to see is Zayn win Money in the Bank, and then for the Bloodline to try to take the briefcase from him, you know, or pressure him into giving it up, or pressure him into holding it, or signing it over to Roman, or something, anything, you know, something where there's, you know, things there. When the Heist of the Century problem, it's the same problem with Becky Lynch winning, is that you have this super over heel already in Seth Rollins who doesn't need to win Money in the Bank. And really all he's going to do is prance around with Money in the Bank the whole time, you know? And that might be fun, but this is your opportunity to really fulfill some type of promise. And I think Riddle is in a situation similar to Liv Morgan where he gets very close and then he loses. And eventually, if you want to get him over, you know, you eventually want to get him to the next level. I'm still going to go with Seth Rollins winning, but I would be overjoyed if Riddle won, because it would show that WWE is interested in making his character something that people should pay attention to, and paying people's emotional investment in the Riddle character by saying he's one of our guys. He could be the next guy. Pay attention. You know, pay attention. He could be the next guy. Let's do that. Let's go with Riddle. Okay. I'm going to say Seth Rollins because out of all of the guys in the match, I think Seth Rollins will probably do the better job with the briefcase. For storyline purposes, Sami Zayn will probably be better. And for finishing the character arc that they've put together, Riddle will be the better idea. This is how you build a show. You know, I'm legitimately interested in what they might do for Money in the Bank in terms of the 2 Money in the Bank matches. The rest of the card is kind of soft, but the 2 Money in the Bank matches have a lot of opportunities to elevate new talent or solidify talent that already exists. And I think they need to resist solidifying talent that already exists. They need to resist, you know, putting it on Seth and Becky. They have to resist that. You know, this show is going to suck if I have to come in here Sunday morning and talk about how Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch won Money in the Bank. That's going to be fucking shitty. All right? Because they don't need it. Give it to Riddle. Give it to Liv. And let them hold it for a while. Let them defend it. Build storylines out of that. You know, the fans have been watching these people lose all these many weeks. Give them something. All right. Like, share, and subscribe. I'll talk to you guys later, man. Peace out.